Welcome back to the podcast. In this episode, we're diving into the ever-changing world of SEO. We'll be discussing how SEO is evolving, especially with the rise of AI, and what these changes mean for businesses trying to get seen online. We'll also explore strategies that navigate this new landscape and what might be the best approach for your business in 2025.
We are Why, the marketing podcast for service brands that want to grow. No fluff, no hype, just what's real. Marketing moves fast, here's the deal. What's working now, what's coming next? Tune in, level up, we'll handle the rest.
Hey Alex, how you going? Welcome to episode 2.
Hi Cameron, all good, and hi everyone who is listening. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Wherever you are.
Right, wherever time zone.
Yeah.
So yeah. Good. Well, how have you been, Alex? Good. You had a good.
All good. Busy week. It's been a lot in the world of marketing. So yeah.
That's right. It never ends. I think this week has been, I was saying to Alex in the green room, this has been one of the busiest weeks, I think, for me. I've just felt very busy. I've been in the office nonstop. So for me, I feel like I've got a few books there in Audible waiting to be listened to, which is about organizing my time. But I haven't had time to yet listen to those Audible books. So it's funny. So I'll get there. And once I get there, then hopefully I'll fix the issue. Because I do a lot of time blocking already, but just things with the marketing world pop up and you've got to be ready to change. So today we're going to talk about SEO and the changes in SEO. So really what we're going to talk about is I guess how things are changing in 2025 and what's new and the past experience too that Alex and I have had over the many years that we've been in marketing, and just generally where I guess I see it's going, and maybe also Alex's interpretation of where he sees it going as well. So I think the first part I've got here for us, Alex, is for the listeners out there, I think everyone knows probably what the acronym is for SEO, but I'll just maybe start there just so everyone knows. So search engine optimization. Basically what that does is it helps your webpage, blog, or other types of media as well, even videos. It helps you by ranking better for people that are actually searching for, whether it's search terms or viewing information for that actual product or service, right? It helps you get in front of people by that content being optimized. And essentially that's the back end work that we do. And there's a lot, it's a very complicated space with a lot of work behind the scenes, but essentially that's what it is. So the first question is, Alex, how do you first of all see in 2025? How have you seen SEO has actually been changing?
Well, the first thing I would like to say is SEO for me, it's one of the most important areas of marketing. And a lot of people don't see it like that, because a lot of people say, let's just put some money on our content and some money on our website and people will come. Yes, of course, that's also something that should be a part of the marketing strategy. But SEO is for the long term. SEO is what will give you authority, within your niche and within your audience in the long term. And the long term in the long game is what you're trying to play when you are making a company. Nobody's creating a company just for it to die in the next 3 years, right? You want to have it for a long time. You want to build a business that it's there for a long time. And actually, there's a phrase that I saw this from one of the marketers, these famous marketers. I don't know if it was Gary Vee or something like that. And it says, you don't win to your competitors. You don't win, in front of your competitors when you, make more money or make more sales. You win when your company lasts longer, right? Mm-hmm. So that's the idea of SEO. The idea for SEO is just in the long term, your company will be there in the minds of all of the potential consumers for longer time than the rest of the companies. So that's the idea for SEO. And since it's a long game, you will not have or you will not see results like the next day or the next month necessarily. You will see some improvements, some quick victories. You will have some good things that will happen, but in the long term, you're gonna see the real value of it, and I think it's huge. That's one of the most important things that I would say. And well, in 2025, it's kind of tricky because Google changed a lot of the rules. Google, it's the biggest search engine platform that there is right now, and there's, of course, there's others. There's like Yahoo and things like that, but Google is definitely the main. Is the front of the internet. Is what where you go to find everything basically. So.
Yeah.
You need to be there. If you're a business, you need to be there, and you need to be in front of the audience that needs to find you, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of tricky because one of the things that Google does is they change the algorithm over time just to optimize it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that also changes the rules of the game, and there's some practices on SEO that you were doing last year that will not work the same way the next year, and things like that. So you have to be aware of that. You have to be aware of when Google does it. Google usually tells the public what they do and how they do it, and they even give you some tips like how to improve your SEO for the next algorithm changes or things like that. So that's one of the things that I would recommend. First, just check the trends, see what people are doing, see what the experts are saying on the internet, because there's a lot of experts on SEO that are always writing articles about how to position your brand better in terms of the Google search and all of that, and what are the best things that you can do in order to be on those, I don't know, first one or two pages of Google when people search for you. And they also say, things that you can do to stand out in front of your competitors. So that's something that you need to check on. The trendings are always important. And of course, what people are searching that might, be within the field that you are trying to get them is something that you need to be aware of as well.
Yeah. Yeah, all good points. It's true. I mean, while you're saying that, I was thinking too, like from that perspective for, the small business owners, what some of the things they might be able to grab onto and use. So like you were saying, majority of people are still using Google. So definitely still optimizing for it. But how do they do that? I would say just some little things they could do, or, use an extension like Yoast. I mean, I think, would you still, I still use Yoast, so
yeah, I use it.
It's a plugin for a WordPress website. And it just helps you with, what to put as the title, the keyword, focus keyword, things like that, the description. It'll give you tips and tricks on whether it's too big or whether it's too small and all that sort of stuff. So that, you as a business owner can actually go and optimize it. I don't know. I'm on the fence. Like, I agree, Google is still the main search engine. Like, I think most people, everyone knows what Google is, and we just Google something. I mean, it's right.
It's become a verb. Yeah,
it's exactly. So like what I'm starting to see though is that, and this is facts too. So Google hasn't got the most amount of searches though, as far as search engines are going now with AI as well. So what I'm getting at is like ChatGPT now, you can search through ChatGPT for search. You can use other AI platforms. What's the other one? There's I always get it wrong, but let me just
Gemini.
Which one?
Gemini, the one that
Gemini.
Gemini.
Think you could use that. But I think it's Perplexity. Let me just double check. I think it's Perplexity. Yeah, Perplexity AI. I mean, if you haven't used that one yet, that's a really good one, because it also indexes, obviously things are getting pulled in from Google, right? But people are starting their search there, and you can have a conversation with SEO rather than actually just finding a keyword and doing the research yourself. So that's where I feel like behaviorally, it's starting to change, where people may still get the information and we index it by Google, hence your Yoast, like get it done right so it's coming up. But then we need to start figuring out like, hey, how these AI platforms are actually indexing the information as well. Like I think that's really crucial, and I don't think all of us know yet exactly how that's actually working. But something I read from, you're saying like some good sources. So like a good source that I would say is SEO Journal. It can get pretty complicated, but they usually write pretty good articles around like what things are changing, and if there's a giant Google update, they'll help you like how long it's taking to roll it out and what their critical changes are. If you're a small business owner looking for a platform to kind of get a little bit in depth more, something like Ahrefs I'd recommend. There is a paid version, you know. I don't know if you recommend Ahrefs or you use SEMrush, Alex, but like I've tried both, and for me personally, I prefer Ahrefs.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I think SEMrush has some good things, but I would definitely use Ahrefs. Yeah, definitely.
And it's probably a little bit more affordable. So like for business owners, what actually Ahrefs is I guess you can put your website in. I'll just keep it very simple. But you put your website in, it'll index your site, and it'll tell you what keywords are performing better than others. It'll tell you what pages are performing well, and you know how many people are going to those pages. But it'll also give you suggestions on competitors, on what they're doing, and it's an easy space for you to kind of have a bit of an overview. You can get pretty technical in it.
Yeah.
However, you know, it's just for a business owner, I think there's a good overview there of what that actually is. So, yeah, look, there's a lot changing, as you said. What do you think about? I guess we like the part I wanted to move on to next was around, you know, AI is making search smarter, sort of like as I mentioned, and you know, you mentioned most people using Google, and people still are, and you know, I guess doing those strategies, but a lot of people are saying now the old way of doing SEO still matters, but it isn't enough. So like, you know, the thing we've done in the past is still there, but it isn't enough. So I found that there's something new called they call it GEO. So generative engine optimization. So this means AI doesn't just show a list of websites anymore. It creates answers for people instead of just giving you links. AI writes out responses using the best information it finds. So what I mean by that, and then we'll talk a bit more about it, but I'm finding with a tool like Google Search Console, another good one for business owners out there, it's free. But Google Search Console, I've started to actually see the trend where impressions are continuing to grow, but clicks are continuing to drop. So why are we seeing that? Essentially, it is because of this GEO, or I guess not even GEO, but it's more the snippets that are coming up are giving the people the answers, and they don't have to click through to the website anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like you're getting the response by AI that you're looking for, and it's there. So those people that are kind of shoppers at the top of the funnel, they're moving on. Yeah, because they've already got the answer. But the people that are actually interested are continuing that research, and they're the ones clicking through. So that's what I'm seeing. It's very early days, but I mean, what sort of things I guess are you seeing through maybe the channels you're looking at with SEO that are actually changing?
Well, what I can add to that is basically you are right that there's kind of a new trend, which is people actually looking for information on ChatGPT instead of Google. Of course, there's a trend of that. But the thing is that AI still has this kind of tricky thing that sometimes when it doesn't find the right information, it just makes stuff up. That happens, right? Yeah. So you need to be aware when you're looking on some information on ChatGPT or whatever. You need to verify it with sources, right? Like try to verify it with sources. Actually, ask when you are asking something for on ChatGPT. Ask them to give you some sources where they find the content, because that way you'll see. Okay, so these are the sources. I'm gonna go there and see what happens. You know, if what ChatGPT is saying is actually accurate, and it's kind of the same information. I know it's more work, and you have to do it, but AI it's just learning right now. It has been learning for a couple of years, and it makes mistakes. It doesn't make it. It's not like a in bad faith, because AI doesn't have any kind of bias or anything. It just finds information and just tries to put it in front of you, but you need to check it. It's because sometimes it just sometimes are not things that are accurate, or not entirely, the true information that you're trying to find. So that's what I think, and I think that it's kind of a migration that occurred also with things like video streaming services or YouTube, for example, and the television. Sometimes you saw some things on YouTube and say, okay, so these are the news, but when you saw it on TV, it was not the same thing, or there was something on TV that was missing on YouTube, or there was something on YouTube that was added, and that it turned out not to be true. So right now it's much more accurate, the information that you can find on YouTube and things like that. But it's the process. It's part of the process that it's just migrating from one platform to another. And with Google and the AI engines, is like the same thing. I mean, Google just gives you the source, so you can go directly to the source and see what happens and see what information you can find there. And AI, it's basically summarizing the information and giving it to you instead of sending you somewhere else, right? So what would I recommend with these snippets things is you have to get into the game. I mean, you have to try to optimize your strategy to get into those snippets and actually give information to people that it's useful, that they still can use, and they still can read and see what they are trying to find, instead of watching the information from your competitors, but also provide them a much larger amount of information inside your website, so they can actually go and see, if they are interested, as Cameron says, if just go and see what is there and actually get the things that they are trying to find. If you're a small business, what I would recommend is always try to get into the game of SEO, because the small businesses rely a lot, or have to rely a lot, in organic content, because they don't have a lot of big budgets to spend on search and things like that. The big companies have those large sums of money that they can actually just put some money on the links, and people will see them in the first 2 or 3 places, right? But for small businesses, what they need to get into is just the organic thing. So SEO it's essential, it's crucial for that game. So yeah, I would definitely get into the snippet game and get into the AI game as well, because you can actually create content with AI, and that content, it's in some way optimized. There's the human component that you always need, because you need to check the information and see if it's accurate. Of course, put on your own perspective and your own insights as a business owner and as an expert on your field of what ChatGPT is saying or whatever. But it saves them a lot of time, because if you have to do an article of 2,000 characters or 3,000 characters or something like that, ChatGPT will just give it to you, and then you just can tweak it and add stuff and things like that. Yeah,
that's like something I was reading the other day about that. It's like we're getting more. We can write content and we can do everything a lot faster. But then we're turning into, like, from an SEO perspective, as a business owner, like, you are really just proofing things now and just making sure that it's fact checked by yourself and making sure it's relevant.
Yeah, exactly.
Some of the things I was just thinking as well while you're saying, like, so for those AI overviews rolled out, so they rolled out on October 28th of 2024. They rolled out worldwide, just so you know. So that's mobile phone. Interesting. So, like, everyone's got that. I mean, we've all been seeing it, right? It's just still to this day, like, you've got to think about how do you optimize for it. That's the only other thing. What do you think about this? I'm thinking too. I'll try and share my screen, because I want to show. I mean, for those of you who are just listening, the 2 things I'm going to show just quickly is Perplexity and then ChatGPT, and then I'll show you how an AI overview looks as well. So check them out for yourselves at the same time. So Perplexity.ai, and then I think you all know ChatGPT right now, but I'm going to show you something else as well. But there's some new features that they brought out just recently, probably in the last month, which I think is really important. They go alongside exactly what you're saying, Alex, like how you can, I guess just like having more of a conversation with AI but then also doing your own research to fact check that source. So then if you're ready to continue on with it, you're going to make a purchase. And for small business owners, I agree. I feel like sometimes I'm on the fence with this. Well, not even on the fence. I you know me, I really love paid ads. I know it's probably a little bit more expensive, but over the years, I've seen very good success with some businesses that you and I both know very well with SEO. But I've also seen nowadays, it's like these businesses want really quick results too. Yeah. So the flip side is SEO probably is still affordable. Like, it is affordable. Don't get me wrong. It is affordable. It can be done. But depending on your niche, if you can get into ads as well and run that alongside it, I believe you'll always be beaten by ads will always win at the beginning. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, and I know that's what you're saying. It's just more like, I know you still need SEO, but I just feel like SEO in my mind isn't an afterthought. It's just, you've got to give yourself now 12 to 18 months. That's what I'm saying to business owners. Yeah. It's really 12. You and I, years ago, we could say 6 to 12 months and you'll start seeing really great results. Whereas, like, maybe there's some absolute whizzes out there and my team and I could be taking a little bit longer to get things done. But I don't know, because we're still getting amazing results for our clients. But it's just, you've got to wait that 12 to 18 months if you're starting from a point where you've just got a blog. Like, yeah, exactly. I'm even saying to businesses now, and this might be a lot of you listeners out there, and I'll jump into this example in a second, but if you don't have a blog right now, I'm sorry, but it's going to be really hard for you to even get into the SEO space.
Yes.
Like, definitely. If you've not done any SEO up until now, then it's going to be really hard. If you're literally starting from zero, so you don't have a website, you've just been doing Google My Business, for example, which is some businesses. I literally talked to a business owner yesterday that we pitched for. He doesn't have a website. They've only got Google My Business. They've been running their business off that. And I'm telling you, this business is making 6 figures plus a month, and they're not doing that. Do you know what I mean? So the opportunity for them is huge, but it's like, do you go into SEO to begin with? Well, you could do some, to be fair, with Google My Business. You could optimize it and do it better. But my strategy is, let's get into ads. Let's start targeting even Google search keywords that people are looking for right now, because it's working for you locally already with Google My Business. But yeah, so I don't know. I think it's a hard mix. But let's jump into this really quick. I just want to show this because I think it's pretty cool, and I think it will give the people that are listening at the same time. I'll talk through it. But if you're using something like Perplexity, let me just pop my screen up here, right? This is Perplexity, right? Basically, you get a search menu bar at the front. It says, what do you want to know? Yeah, pretty straightforward. They also use things like Reddit and stuff to be indexed, so you can search through that. There's a little auto button, right? Which I think you must have to sign in for now, which is interesting. But you can choose what source you want to start searching for. So if you guys sign up for it, it doesn't cost you anything. Sign up. You can choose what search. So you could do like web search, you can do Reddit, you can do video, etc. Right? So here we go. Set sources. Here it is. So they've changed a little bit. Web, search across the entire internet. You can do academic, but you can also do social, which gives you things like Reddit, Facebook, YouTube, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, just discussions and people that are talking about the subject.
Exactly, because I mean, now now they are indexing Reddit, but Google is indexing Reddit comments and also posts, which they haven't done before, because they're showing now that it's more an authoritative source. So Reddit also has paid ads. Reddit's getting into a pretty good space. Their ads platform is actually pretty nice. But I do find, like, if they're indexing all that stuff, it's a good way for you to search what's going on. So let's say we've just got best tennis player in the world. I don't know. I'm just pulling something out of here. So I'm going to search for that, right? So it's going to give us. I'm not going to try and say these names, but you might know names.
Very good. Yeah.
Jannik Sinner, Alexander
Zverev. Yeah,
I'm going to say that wrong. Carlo Alcaraz. So, like, for example, it's giving you some suggestions. But the cool thing I want to talk about this is, so for the people that are just listening, if you now go through and ask a follow-up question, you can communicate with the search, which is not something that we've been able to do before. So you've got to think of it like that. How would the end user go through and find out more information about this? I want to look at further about that source. So you can click on these numbers next to the name of the person, and you can go to that website where the source is, and then you can continue your old school Google search way of doing things, or you can just have a discussion with Perplexity to do the same thing. ChatGPT is pretty similar. There's a search option. I don't know, best tennis player in the world. And as you said, Alex, like, it's still learning. So these things are not necessarily going to always be correct, but because it's learning what websites are the best to put the information up here, right? Because we're pulling from the web, but we got the same results. Not bad, right?
Yeah, the same. Yeah,
pretty good. I think different sources though, but same results. Interesting. So ChatGPT again, continue the conversation. One thing I want to point out here before we move on, but that feature you're saying, like doing the research for you, deep research is now available in ChatGPT. I don't know if you've had a chance to use that feature. It's fairly new, but it's amazing if you're wanting to write a beautiful SEO article. It'll run for you and take maybe 5-10 minutes to actually do its job. But it'll actually run for you and do research for you and give you an awesome blog that you just need to proof and fact check and make sure you're happy with it. So pretty neat, right?
Yeah, pretty good.
So for those of you that haven't seen the AI overviews, check them out. I'm sure you use your phone all the time. You guys everyone would have seen them, right? But they're pretty cool. So that's pretty much what it's doing. It's pulling information, somewhere through like ChatGPT and Perplexity, but using Google's AI overview, which is, what is it again? What's AI? What's Google's AI again?
Gemini.
Gemini. That's it. So it's using Gemini to do that. All right, sweet. So let me stop.
And there's something interesting here. For example, if you find something like a ranking of 10 tennis players and things like that, it's pretty easy to get kind of the same results because, there's like an official thing, and that will give you numbers. And,
reference point. Yeah, good point.
Yeah. But how about if you try to find, I don't know, the best roofing company in, I don't know, Washington or Brisbane or Sydney or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you do that, what you will get is probably the companies that have better SEO.
Yeah.
I mean, you will not necessarily find the best. Of course, you're going to find some that are really good, but they also have very good SEO. And that's why the AI is identifying those, because those are the ones that have the larger number of reviews. Of course, they have a higher ranking. They have a higher ranking not only on reviews, but also on the search engines and things like that. So that's why SEO is important. But I would say to your point that definitely the paid ads is what you should start, because you need to start with that. You need to get into the game. Yeah, and it will get you in the game day one, right? You will be in the game. But in parallel, you start doing these SEO things, you start doing your log, things like that. For example, we have another customer that makes these crane baskets that, these crane man baskets, the ones that lift you up and they can do work and things like that in buildings and stuff like that. So that's a very boring niche. What are you going to talk about that, in a blog or something like that? So they necessarily have to do paid ads because they can not speak a lot about the crane baskets. It's all they sell, right?
It gets to a point where like the service offering is very simple. There's not much you can write. What's the point? Yeah. It's not going to be interesting, or someone searching. You're probably going to go outside the niche, if anything. You're only going to bring in the wrong traffic.
Exactly. Yeah. So you can get creative. You can get, let's just talk about how these safety measures are good for this and that. Yeah, of course. But someone who is looking for safety measures, not necessarily is trying to buy some crane man baskets, right? So it's something that you need to be aware of if you are trying to blog into a niche that is too specific and too too simple. It's gonna get messy because you're gonna get a lot of traffic, but not necessarily a lot of sales from that traffic, right? Yeah. So that it's something that you need to combine. You need to combine both strategies. You need to have your paid strategy, even if it's small. If you have a small budget, no problem, but just start. because after you start selling, you can maybe ramp up your budget and and put some more money next month and put some more money during the next 6 months or something like that. So that will get you more clicks and blah blah blah, and all of the things that come with that. And if you have a good selling strategy after people going to your website and contact you and ask you for an invoice, for a budget or whatever, you will definitely close a lot of more sales if you have a good funnel after people click on your ads. But definitely both of the things need to be put together. Your SEO needs to be neat, and SEO is not only keywords. There's a lot of things that can get you in the game that not necessarily is just blogging every day or every month or whatever. You can take care of your back end and your front end so it's user friendly. You can make it that your website runs fast so people can find every information that they need really fast. You can put the links that you need for people to click on really right up on the website, so people
the user experience
doesn't have to do a lot of things when they are there. Doesn't have to go into I don't know 2 or 3 clicks or scroll a lot just to find the information. You can do a lot of things. You can actually improve things like voice search, because a lot of people search by voice right now. With this devices like Alexa, or what's the other one?
The Google one, the Apple one, isn't it? Yeah, Apple.
The Apple one, yeah.
I mean, even
Siri,
on your phone.
Siri, yeah, exactly.
I mean, now iPhones from model 15 up, they have ChatGPT built in, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I just press the side, hold it down, and then I've got ChatGPT to ask any questions I want.
So you can actually, just hire someone for you to improve that and improve your searches on every level. And it doesn't necessarily have to, you don't necessarily have to blog all the time if you sell something as simple as what I just mentioned with the mango in baskets or things like that. So these are the things that I would recommend. The other thing is, and the snippet game is really important too. The other thing is video. I think that the video content is growing in importance. You need to optimize if you do video on some way, even if it's for social media or YouTube or even on your own website. Optimize your titles, your descriptions. You can use these platforms as just bytes, so people actually can I see this content is interesting and I need something like that, so let me go into the website and see what happens. Make sure that if you have any social media channel, it has all of the links that people would need to get into your website, things like that. So that's one of the things that it's also taking a lot of relevance, because a lot of people are just watching content on video and short video like TikTok or Instagram or YouTube, or actually YouTube changed the game to shorts.
Sorry to cut you there, but what's your thoughts on TikTok? Like, I mean, I don't do TikTok right now. I know we should, but it's something that we're looking at moving into. But a lot of my clients, we just don't do TikTok in a lot of the service space that I work with. Have you had much experience with it? Because I haven't. So for the business owners out there that don't have it, like what would you say?
Well, I would say that TikTok, it's very good for specific niches. It's not for everyone. It's not for every type of business. Okay. For example, this one that I just mentioned, or if you have a construction company or things like that, that's TikTok is not going to add value to your marketing strategy. Maybe it will get you into some search engines, but it's not going to be as relevant as if you have, I don't know, a makeup business. Or,
there's some things
that clothing or like a clothing brand.
Yeah, maybe more of a store, or even like a local brick and mortar store, maybe, right? Is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I heard with TikTok, the search option there is pretty good. So you can actually search a local business in there or a product, and they have like what Facebook has got now with Meta AI, right? You can search inside Facebook. So,
yeah, exactly. But it's more for business to consumer than business to business. It's something that I would say. And of course, there's some brands that thrive on TikTok that are, kind of into sports, like sports goods, or music, or makeup and beauty, and the beauty industry, of course, clothing, things like that are more to direct consumers than, I don't know, if it's companies selling to other companies some goods or things like that. So yeah, that's what I would say about TikTok. But what I say about that is, if you're gonna use it, try to optimize it,
Yeah.
as good as possible, with the copy, and all of the right words and all of the right things, so you can position yourself into the search engine, because the search engine on TikTok, but also on Instagram, on Facebook. Actually, Facebook implemented, I don't know, maybe it was like a year ago, or even a little more than that, the reels. They implemented the reels inside the platform on Facebook, and it's huge. You can actually get millions of views, and you don't have to have a lot of followers, or anything like that, because they like to put those videos up if they get some relevance and things like that. So Facebook Reels are good as well, and Facebook is a very good platform right now for businesses, because Facebook does have a lot of consumers that are between the 40 years old and up. So
Yeah.
those people are actually have actually buying power. So the thing with those people is that they are not necessarily on any other platform. They're not on Instagram. They're not on TikTok. They're not on these other platforms, and they are on Facebook because they connect there with their friends and their family, and just watch the eventual video. And when they see those videos, they can actually go and click. Actually, the Facebook is probably the second platform right now to generate clicks to a website. The first one, it's strangely, is right now Pinterest, but Facebook is the second one, and it's by a lot from the third one, which is X. So it's it's a really big platform if you want to generate clicks to a website. So just always do Facebook. Facebook is very good, and it's very good for selling stuff. If you're trying to sell your services, or sell your products, Facebook is a really good platform. And trying to explode the video on Facebook is a very good idea, because, as I said, they prioritize the video among everything, every other type of content. And of course, Facebook is very well positioned among any search engine. So if you have a good content on Facebook, it will probably show up on the searches as well when people are looking for something on Google, or even ChatGPT, or
even videos now. On if you do video search in Google, it's indexing and showing the Facebook Reels and the Facebook videos as well.
Yeah, exactly.
A few points. Can I jump back a little bit and then jump forward? I just think there's some things there that I think we could give them as programs. Over the years, I got all these programs in my head that I think these business owners could use. But the first one would be, you're saying like how you can watch the user experience through the website. Sort of when we're back there, I think Microsoft Clarity. I mean, I use that all the time now. It's a free tool. So like, I'd like to say that as a business owner, grab that. It does heat mapping. It also does screen recording. So when Alex was talking about changing, the buttons or the 3-click process to get to the point where you just want to book an appointment with them, you can have something like Microsoft Clarity, or record the screen. It'll show you how many clicks, what the users are doing, heat maps and everything, and it's free. That's the other cool thing about it. It's free. It's such a good tool. We used to use things like Hotjar and all that sort of stuff in the back in the day, and they cost you money. But as a business owner, you can just use those sorts of things yourself. Just to go then jump forward to where you're talking about with Facebook and Instagram and all those sorts of things. I had a meeting yesterday with a Facebook representative. Caution there, make sure you've got someone that's experienced, just so you all know, like they do roll over every 3 months. I've been fortunate over the years that with Google, I've now got a local rep for me. And it's really based on also ad spend. So eventually you'll get someone local. But for business owners, usually you're going to probably have, as far as on Facebook and Instagram, you're probably going to have a rolling person every 3 months. And some of them don't have as much knowledge of others. But I'd give you some fun facts from yesterday, which is in relation to what Alex was saying, but just some of the things there around that search with videos. So the lady that I spoke to was fantastic. She gave some good points around where Facebook is changing, and it's behavioral now. So when you're talking about those videos, it's very much like when someone stops on Facebook and watches that video and likes it, or watches 3 seconds and then flicks through, or they look through a carousel images, they're now putting all that information into the machine learning, and that's behavioral outcomes. Yeah. So they're tracking people more in that way. Another thing I found really interesting, talking about, I guess, the SEO piece of this, optimization, she was saying too that, when you're putting hashtags into Facebook and posts and Insta as well, those hashtags are now where the AI through Meta search is grabbing the information. So hashtags are back, but they're being used in a different way. They're being used by the AI engine to actually pull the data from those posts. So keep doing that. That was another fun fact that she said to me. I think that was pretty much it as far as like things that I think small business owners could do. The rest of the stuff probably gets a little bit too technical. But yeah, that's probably it. I mean, back to the things you were saying. So Facebook, YouTube. What are some of the things you're seeing on YouTube? I mean, you're pretty heavily. You and I look at two different markets as well, just so the audience knows. Like, I'm very much more in Australia, and Alex is probably more like with an American market. So there's different things. Like when you're mentioning X and stuff like that for clicks, I mean, I don't think that many Australians use X. Yeah. Like it's not like a big platform here. I wouldn't know the numbers, but I just know generally with all the clients I've got, they don't even use X. And there might be some market share for us, but very much American market. So how are you finding things with YouTube? I know in the green room, you're saying some things that you've been finding with YouTube as well.
Well, yeah, YouTube. The interesting thing about YouTube is that it's becoming the go-to platform for a lot of people to find information about a subject, and because it's easy to find. First of all, because the search engine is basically the Google search engine. Actually, you can find things on YouTube even by giving it hints of what you're trying to find. Even if you don't know what you're trying to find or what's the name, you will give them hints, and it will give you the actual content that you're trying to find. So it's really, really powerful. Right. But the thing is that YouTube has the advantage that you can actually hear the information and watch the information instead of trying to read a whole article or things like that. And they can even explain it to you. Like if you're trying to find a tutorial on how to do blah blah blah, you can find it on YouTube very easily. If you're trying to get a summary of a subject that is trending and you don't know what they're talking about, okay, let's just find someone on YouTube that is talking about this and just trying to and just summarizes the thing in 5 minutes, so I know what they're talking about, things like that. So YouTube is very, very powerful for any company just to get their content out there and to get their products out there, to get their services out there, because people are searching a lot on YouTube. But one of the things on YouTube that I was noticing, for example, is that organically the shorts are very, very good. I mean, even if you post, I don't know, twice a week or 3 times a week or something like that, it's not a lot of content that you're gonna put out there. But YouTube really, really prioritizes that content and puts it up, even if you don't have like a lot of subscribers, right? You can have thousands of views if the video is good, because they will show it to a certain amount of people. They will show it to, I don't know, maybe 200 to 250 people within your niche. And that's why it's important that you need to have, the right keywords and the right things, because the more you do it, the more YouTube understands you, and the more they know where to show you, right, for your content to start being relevant. So when you do this all the time, or every week for a couple of months, something like that, you will see some changes there. You will see some increase on views, and people are gonna start just clicking or liking the video or doing something. And after that, YouTube starts just rolling the ball and still show you and show you and show you because they know your content is relevant. So you need to be aware of that. The short content is like basically 1 minute. You can put it up to 3, but 1 minute is it's the ideal amount of time that you will do a short for it to be successful. And the thing is that if you put that, you don't have to invest a lot of money there, and you will still be there, and the content on YouTube doesn't die. Once it's there, people can people can watch it forever, and it will you will show up on the searches forever. So that's why it's very important to have a really good keyword strategy and a really good copy strategy when you are making the title and putting on the thumbnail and things like that. And optimizing.
And you know what, Alex, the thing is too, a lot of people are too lazy to do that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I see so many business owners, and it might be the fact too that they just don't know where and what to look for. So give them that benefit of the doubt. But like, as far as optimizing things for search engines or whatever it may be with Google or YouTube, go through and fill out all the information and make sure it's got what you offer, because I see so many businesses that don't actually do that. That's honestly true. They just put the video up and then they hope for the best. But as you're saying, all that optimization actually works. Again, fun fact, another little program I use, it's called vidIQ, I think it is. Let me just quickly have a look. But IQ. So yeah, vidIQ, check it out. It'll actually help you with that. So it walks you through what to put in there. It's kind of like Yoast for a website. The vidIQ for YouTube will also help you with competitive titles. So it'll actually do the research using AI. There's a free feature, and then there's also a paid version. So it depends how hardcore you want to get into it. One other fact too I want to give you on that you're talking about, Alex, is so for business owners putting those videos up on a relevant web page, right? So upload them to YouTube, fill out the information as Alex is saying. It'll be there forever. But think of like that video that you're talking to, how that one video can go on your webpage as well. So I'm starting to see now more than ever, but it has been released recently, where Google is indexing the top video on the page. So only have one video up the top of the page. They will index that video. They'll also index the words that are spoken. So think about that. If you've got a video and you're talking at, however many words per minute, those words will also be indexed. So Google Search Console will pull out the transcript, and it actually shows you in Google Search Console the actual transcript from that video, which is pretty nuts. So the way things are moving, I believe, is I'm a huge believer in this. I've been saying it for probably a year and 3 months now. Video, video, video. Get on video. Like that's where the world is moving to. And Alex and I were doing video how long ago? 5 years ago. I remember we were trying to do video in a place that we're both at, and we're trying to set it up. And I've still got videos on YouTube from back then. But it's like, it takes time. You've got to find your niche. You got to find what works. But these tips that we're giving you today are definitely little things that you can make sure that you complete, that we see that business owners also don't do. So it's filling that information out. Start putting those videos up on your website so people can see who you are and be a bit personalized. If you've got a service that's like like that metal box that protects people when they're going up in the buildings, whatever that's called. I mean, it might not be as fun, but if you want to show like the safety, what features it's got, how it's going to protect people, you could probably go on that for a little bit, but you could update those videos as things change, And
the interesting thing about video is that you can do demonstrations of, if you have a product, you can see how it shows, how it works, what happens when you open the box, what you're going to encounter, what happens if, I don't know, if it's a service, you can just explain why it works and why is it good.
Who's the niche I want to see?
You can have testimonials even,
to find out that for you. Do the research using those tools.
Exactly. And the other thing is, and you can hire someone to do that. I mean, if you don't have time for it, like, I don't have time for it, whatever, that's fine. You don't even have to show your face all the time, as long as there's a human component there. People are going to appreciate it. People are going to appreciate it, even if it's a voice. Even if it's just a voice, people are going to appreciate it and are going to watch it anyway. And the thing is, a lot of people just listens to YouTube instead of watching it. For example, myself, I sometimes just have YouTube on the background, just rolling videos, and I'm not even watching what's happening on the video. I'm just working on doing other stuff.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I would say, well, just a quick tip for YouTube.
Mhm.
The 90%, this is a true statistic, and it's something that most, when you search it on Google or whatever you want to search it, are gonna tell it's true. 90% of the views on YouTube are thanks to the thumbnail. That's the little image that you put there just to show what the video is about.
Yeah, before the click.
90%.
Yeah.
90% is because of the thumbnail. If the thumbnail is good, you will get clicks and you will get views. If it's not, interesting, if it doesn't stand out, if it doesn't, really calls for attention, your video is gonna fall flat, right?
100% right. Hey, it's true. Mr. Beast tested 200 thumbnails. That's how many he's tested over time. And like one small thing that he said was keeping your mouth closed as well was another thing that they said in the video. Don't have like a big smiley face in the thumbnail.
Yeah.
So like, what you're saying is correct, because why would they be testing so many? And to give you all an update, Alex is very successful on YouTube as well. So he's got a great channel that he runs that does very well. And he monetizes as well. So it's doing very well. So I think a lot of these things that he's done, like, in a year, you've progressed pretty far with YouTube, and you've seen these things, right?
Yeah.
So you're testing thumbnails, you're seeing what works on the longer form videos. Are you doing thumbnails for the shorts as well? Because I know there's a specific way that you've got.
Yeah. There are thumbnails for the shorts as well. I mean, not design, not necessarily design. Usually for the short videos, it works. If the face of the person saying something, with the little titles, that it's a really good quote or something that is very
so you optimize it in that way.
People, yeah, exactly. So it's kind of very interesting, the quote, and so people will click on that. But for some, I do some thumbnails, and they work really good. The thing is that you need to just keep trying this kind of stuff and see what sticks, and always look to the data. I'm always looking at data and statistics and things like that. I'm probably gonna get
I'm glad you
at some point in my life. but see what happens with your videos. See what is trending. See, I don't know, if, for example, what I see is one of my videos is doing really well, so I maybe look for something that is related to that video that I can talk about on the next. Right?
Yeah.
So people can, not only it will show it, YouTube will show it to people who already watched this one that is doing really well, but they will also, people will also click on those. And if they click on the next one, YouTube will show it more videos of my channel. One of the things that I've been realizing is, for example, I've been seeing videos that start trending in my channel, and getting comments and things like that. I get notifications, and one of the things that happens is that when I go to that video, I don't know what video is, because I have, I don't know, hundreds of videos there already. Yeah. It's a video that it's from like a year ago. So that's what I mean when I say the content doesn't die. Like some video that you made a year ago, some for some reason becomes relevant at some point in time, and it's
back to the beginning. It's SEO, right? Still, the optimization, it takes time. Like that's the exact example, but you've optimized it right at the beginning, so you're going to come up the ranks, where the others have just put it up and not worried about it. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It makes sense. What you're saying is exactly right. 12 months, it's popped up because you're doing the right things.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's a long game, the SEO, and I think AI is good. I think AI, it's something that we need to use, but as I said, we need the human component always.
Always, yeah. Well, look, I'll give you a good example of that. I was talking to the team yesterday. There's roughly 10 of us working together, and I said, look, I'm going to optimize 30% of every one of you to use AI as part of your role. Yeah. So what does that give us back? It gives us 3 people, essentially. If I optimize every person at 30%, it's going to give us 300%, right? So it's going to give us an extra 3 people. So there's definitely things that AI can help you out with. But I think like coming back to like what this podcast is about for SEO, like wrapping that up to there is that there's a lot of things, as Alex is saying, that it can work for you, but you've got to be there to read through it. But I still think, again, 30% of what you're writing, for example, or even more, you could save that time by using ChatGPT and then just become a proofer. That's what a lot of us are now doing. Like my team in SEO, they're really just getting the content, fact checking it, and then putting it out. That's really what it is. And then on page optimization, business owners, you can do this. It's just, again, the time, but you can use the tools like Yoast. You can optimize, like Alex is saying, putting the right information in. Checking the analytics is so important. True. Like I can't stress that enough. Check Google Analytics, set it up. Use YouTube Analytics to check what's going on. I mean, that's really where you're checking most of the data from, Alex. Like if you're doing YouTube, there's the analytics platform on there, which I'm assuming is a completely big learning curve, right? Or is there anything else you use to check for YouTube on analytics how it's going, or you just use their tools that they've got built in?
No, I prefer to use theirs because it's basically insights from the actual platform that I'm using.
Yeah.
But
so there's no need, right?
Yeah, but for example, if you are on another platform, for example, I don't know, if you're using Facebook, Facebook doesn't have as a powerful tool to tell you what is trending. They will tell you some things that are trending and all that, but it's not that accurate. So you'll probably need to, just dig in a little more and maybe look on other sources and things like that. But for platforms like YouTube, which is huge, it will definitely work with their own insights. And something that just a quick fact: YouTube is getting at least 50% or 60% of the market share that the TV had back in the day. So yeah, I mean,
it makes sense. I just Googled it before. Well, not Googled. I used the ChatGPT, but it's getting 3 billion searches per month, and Google gets 8.5. So just think about that. And that's almost 50%. So exactly. You're going back to TV. Like again, why not? I mean, people. It's still young. It's still early days to be doing those things, right? For people to get to know who you are or whatever videos you want to create. Pretty nuts. It's pretty nuts.
Yeah, and so get in the game. I think that the video game is really, really important as well for all of these things that we've been talking about, especially for SEO. But yeah, I mean, and I don't know. I know it's a lot of information. I know that you might be getting overwhelmed. So yeah, I have to do all of these things. I have to blog. I have to do video. I don't have time for it. Blah blah blah.
Then all that needs to be optimized, right? That's the other scary thing.
Yeah, exactly.
All of it.
But just start from one piece and then go to the other and then go to the other. Just don't try to do it everything at once, because of course it's gonna be overwhelming. It's gonna be and probably you're not gonna get as good results as you would get if you just first start with SEO, try to optimize it, hire someone that can act, that it's kind of an expert on the thing.
That's right. That's their role. That's what they do.
That's one thing that I would say.
Agency. Look for an agency.
Or an agency. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But always ask for case studies that they have, because a lot of people are going to say, yeah, SEO, we do it, we optimize it, blah, blah, and it will tell you a lot of technical things that you don't understand. So you're going to hire them. And then after, I don't know, 3 or 6 months, you're going to get disappointed or whatever. So try to get some, success cases from them. If they actually do SEO really well, they will have statistics, they will have numbers, they will have, some screenshots to show you, and once you see that, you can say,
like something from the client, a video. Like I always said, get a video. You can't fake that. You know what I mean? You can't fake a video from the client.
Exactly. So when they show you that, you can make sure, okay, so this is a good company, or this is a good person that will actually do the job. Because as with every other niche, there's a lot of people out there that think that they know what they're doing and not so much. So companies end up being disappointed and saying, "Oh, SEO doesn't work because I tried that for, I don't know, 6 months and I wasted a lot of money." So try to ask for a really good proof of work, and you will get good results, definitely.
Yeah, and I'm a huge believer in that. I think I think you would say the same. Like, we're not experts in SEO. You know, like, I'm not trying to speak on your behalf, but for me, like, we do SEO, but I can never say I'm an expert in it because it changes so much. That's what I'm getting at. Like, in the last 3 months, it's changed so much. The things we've spoken about today would not be the same as what we spoke about last year, at all. As I said, in October last year, that's when the AI search, came through and showing the queries. They're showing basically AI queries coming up for your search. Like, it's changed so much. But where I'm getting at with that, I guess, is that as a business owner, I always say, try and do a bit. Like, I know there's a lot of, and it can be overwhelming, but don't put all your eggs in one basket, is where I'm getting at. Don't put them all into SEO. I have an agency where we literally a marketing department for hire. That's, if I'm in an elevator and someone's going, "What do you do?" "I do marketing." "Oh yeah, tell me a little bit more." We're an agency you can hire. That's essentially it. A department that you can hire. Instead of you having to hire all these people, we take care of it for you. So why I created it that way is that Alex and I know someone mutually that really does just run sort of like Facebook and Instagram ads and Google ads and things like that, which can work really well for fast marketing strategies. But I'll tell you one thing, there's still people doing SEO. There's still people doing the content posting. There's still people doing the design. There's all these different components that you need to try and do. So where I would say is, again, don't put all those eggs in that one basket. Try and do some in SEO, do some in paid ads, and then test them against each other. Do Facebook ads, Instagram ads, do posts on Facebook like we spoke about today with shorts. Test all those things, check the analytics, as Alex is saying, see what's working, and then start to double down on it. We will get to eventually in a podcast, we'll probably talk about paid ads, which could go for 5 hours because I love paid ads. But and there's so much in that space. But where I'm getting with organic, they do compete, because when you look at a cost per click organically, they give you a price on it. So if you look at Ahrefs, once the business owners start getting in and having a look, there'll be a price per click. So a cost per click, CPC. Then if I go to paid advertising, there's also a CPC. So I can just say to you, if you give me $5 for that click, I'll get you the click for $5. Whereas organic, you're going to be doing all these optimizations to get to that point. But you look at it this way. Once you get in the swing of it and you get the groove going, you've started to find that niche and it's working. As Alex said, like a video he's done 12 months ago, it comes back. He could have put that quite quickly onto Google ads and just run YouTube ads and got a similar kind of cost per click, but he'd be paying for that straight away. Right? Yeah. He's getting that now organically because he's put in the work at the beginning. So just remember, with SEO and all these other ways to do things, SEO is just something that does take a lot of time. You've got to find, as Alex said, someone that knows what they're doing. But I think also Alex was saying that from the reason why I see it is that we talk to so many business owners that get burnt with SEO. Is that what you're kind of thinking about as well as you're saying it?
Yeah.
Like, we get people that come in and they're like, I don't want to do SEO. I've spent 12 months on it. I've spent tens of thousands of dollars on it. I've just seen no results. Well, I don't know any agencies now that just do SEO. Let me put it this way. I don't know any businesses that only do SEO right now that would be successful. So if there's a business out there that's listening and you're just doing SEO and it's successful, good on you. But let's look at it this way. And I say this to clients as well. If I went to the casino and you started doubling down on black because it was being successful for you, if you knew the next bet was going to win, wouldn't you put everything you had on the table? True. Yeah. You would. So why would you put everything though into SEO when it can change if you're not testing other avenues that can actually work really well for you?
Exactly.
And maybe you're at the point where SEO was the winner, but I'm telling you, so many things have changed, especially this year, that you need to go back and try the other platforms again for yourself. Because, if the way that it's looking like it's going to go with conversational, I do think that still some of these bigger sites that publish a lot of content will probably still get more authority than some of these little sites right now with AI search. Truly, like, they've got so many pages, but Google is starting to listen, and they are starting to see that their business at the end of the day is, if I search for something and I get the result fast and it gives me the accurate information, that was a good search. If not, when someone goes to your website and they leave, there's a thing called a bounce rate, and they will leave and go very quickly. And Google tracks that. So if someone's going to your website and a lot of people start leaving quickly, and your website's starting to track for that search term, well, obviously they're leaving quickly. The information's not there that they're looking for. So that's also going to hit your rankings down. So you want to make sure that, you're actually finding the niches that people are looking for. You're making sure that you're optimizing the content for them, keeping an eye on analytics. And then most importantly, I would say it's a long burn if you're a business owner getting into it. But there's a lot of tools out there, like we said today. Yoast, Microsoft Clarity are two really good ones. I mean, Google Analytics, again, is great. If you are going to start doing videos with YouTube, there's a YouTube analytics on there, which Alex is really familiar with. So if you've got questions, reach out to Alex, right? And I'm sure you can answer a lot of those questions.
Yeah, of course.
Look, it's changing. So where do you want to go from here? I mean, I've got a little bit more that we probably have to chat about, but I think, is there anything you wanted to sort of wrap up with there around before we probably jump into wrapping everything up for the listeners?
No, I would say, well, just to tell a quick anecdote about, the expert word that you were saying.
Correct.
A couple of years ago, I made some marketing consulting for a friend that had a magazine about technology and all that, and he talked about a lot about social media and AI and things like that. So I made a consulting for him on how the magazine would perform better online and blah blah blah. And he, at the end of it, he said he was very happy, and he said, "Yeah, let's make an interview, with you, and you will talk about the new trends on social media and things like that." And yeah, we did the interview, and at the end, he tells me the title, and he says, "Yeah, social marketing expert, blah blah." And I said, "No, I'm not an expert. I have a lot of experience, but I'm not an expert. You know why?
Yeah.
Because tomorrow something might change, and I will have to learn it all over again, right?
Yeah.
And of course, I would know how to learn it faster, and I would know how to look for the trends faster, because I have a lot of experience, but I'm not an expert, so I don't like to be called like that. So it's the same thing with SEO. Like, if there's, I don't think there's such a thing, and this is a rough statement, but I will say it anyway. I don't think there's such a thing as an SEO expert. I don't think there is, because it changes literally every year. Literally every year it changes. So
even monthly, man, honestly, monthly, like it's at the moment, it's changing so much. I think you're spot on there. There's definitely experts in some industries. I agree with you.
Yeah, of course.
But SEO is what we're trying to say here is one of those things that you can't be an expert in it. So don't stress if you're finding it overwhelming. Even, the experts with that type, they find it really overwhelming as well. And look, there's some core strategies that you've got to keep doing. So sort of wrap it up, I guess, where I would say is keep doing the old, right? And then start looking and researching and doing the new. And Alex and I are going to keep you updated with as much information as we can as we go. Like we will keep swooping back onto these topics, because for us, the good thing with this podcast is that things do change so much. We see so many things out there in the jobs that we have. We just want to give you business owners bite-sized chunks that are actually going to make a difference for you that you can do yourself. Because we know a lot of you aren't at the point yet where you can hire a consultant or an agency. There comes a time where you can, but a lot of these things I do believe that you should understand yourself. I mean, that's the whole point of the podcast, which we've got it for service-based businesses. We might talk a bit about e-commerce. Alex has more experience in e-commerce than what I do. But to wrap it all up, I guess the quick summary is mix the old SEO with the new, which is the generative engine optimization. So start thinking about the best ways that you can improve your strategy that you're already running. And have a think about too, just what platforms you can be on, how you can optimize that information best for your audience. You agree, Alex?
Yeah, totally agree.
All right.
And one last thing, just don't get discouraged if something is not working, if something is not, if a piece of content is falling flat, or if the blog is not really getting a lot of visits. It will happen. You just have to keep doing it and just don't give up. Yeah.
Test, right? It's when we get to the ads world, one day when we get to the paid ads world with a podcast, I promise you that's what I do all the time. Things fail, they just fail. But when you find that winner, it works. It's the same, isn't it? Really, anything in marketing. It's just that it feels like with SEO and optimizing things, they take so much longer because you can't get to that audience as quickly. But it's not, everyone doesn't need to go viral. I guess that's the thing. But when you go viral, you get, imagine the data they're getting. Do you know, on something that gets millions of views? Like, it'd be insane, right?
Yeah, and I remember, for example, the first video, not the first 10 or 20 videos that I posted on YouTube, they were getting like 200 views, 150, you know, something like that. And I was like, wow, this is gonna be hard. But right now, you know, I wouldn't have imagined a year ago that I would be getting millions of views on some videos.
Yeah.
But what I did was just keep going, and I just keep doing things and kept doing things.
But reading the data, right? Reading the data,
and reading the data and see what's working, see what's not. And once I got that secret sauce, I just, you know, start doing it every day. And that's the thing. You need to test it out and you need to keep going.
I agree with you, man. I think that's true. Best advice people can get. I think a lot of the business owners that listen know that as well, as far as in their own business. They just don't know our space that much, but it's the same principle, right?
Yeah. Things
are going to work. Things aren't going to work in what we're doing. So look, I think that was great. I hope you all have learned a lot from today. So follow us. Keep an eye out for the next one, because we're going to keep doing this. At this stage, Alex and I are planning on to be able to get this information out to you as soon as possible. This was recorded on the 14th of the 3rd, 2025, just to keep the information up to date for you. And we look forward to seeing you at the next one.
Catch you later.
See ya.
Bye-bye.